What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about some British accents that are very, very difficult to understand, especially for us Americans. So today, I want to check out this video by Ollie Richards. And the title literally says that these are British accents that I will not understand. So I guess I kind of take that as a challenge, honestly. I think that one thing most Americans really don't realize is that there are so many different British accents. A lot of Americans actually just think that there's one British accent, just the standard British accent. So there's bound to be some strange British accents, since I know there are many, and there's a lot of different accents in America as well, some that we consider difficult to understand. So I'm curious what exactly it's like in Britain. So let's take a look.
I dug up 8 of the hardest English accents from all over the British Isles.
Okay.
These are the accents that I, as a Brit, can struggle to understand, which means you probably don't stand a chance.
I don't stand a chance. If British people have trouble understanding these accents, I don't stand a chance. Like, I'm gonna admit it.
See, pay close attention and you can tell me how many of these English accents you can understand.
Okay.
I turned in too early. I literally turned into this left hand here. I turned in there too early and I hit the rock face there. There used to be a rock face there. Yeah. I hit that. I hit that on the right side of the road, and then I hit this here.
This isn't bad? This isn't too bad. Wait a minute. I was getting all worked up for no reason. I understand that. That's pretty plain English.
Is it Northern? Is it Irish? I'll tell you what it is. The dialect of an old smuggler's den. See, back in the day, there was a lot of dodgy money passing through here, although in the mid-1600s, very few of the locals actually spoke English.
It's a bit fresh out there, boy.
Some of the ancient influences you heard here were Gaelic and Old Norse, and if you heard a little bit of Liverpool in there, you're not wrong. But this area had all sorts of fascinating rulers, from feudal lords to Irish missionaries and Norwegian Vikings.
Oh my god. Interesting. So I don't know if British people out there, if you can actually guess what he's talking about just from the descriptions he's giving. I have no idea. To me, he's just saying that this area is comprised of many, many, many different origins and cultures that have come together to make this British accent. If we're talking about the accent in the clip, the first clip where they're driving down the road, that wasn't that weird. That I could understand that very easily. Is that what it was? Because this isn't that hard, if that's the case. Not hard to understand.
Right there, you say? Got any skeet? It's blowing a hoolie out there, you say? That's mighty. Traveller.
This is the
Okay. Never mind. Is this what we're talking about? It's blowing a hoolie out there. Is this English? Like the English language? What's a hoolie? Okay, this makes more sense to me. I don't know what that first clip was. This, I don't know what we're saying.
It's blowing a hoolie out there, you say? That's mighty. Traveller.
This is the historic dialect of English spoken in the Isle of Man, smack bang between England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. It's one of the British Isles and belongs to
the Isle of Man. So there's this island in the middle of the British Islands. Who lives there? Oh, I guess just these people who speak in this dialect.
To the Crown, although technically not part of the UK. Until the 19th century, most people here spoke a Celtic language called Manx.
As Seoch Perche, Fodu Fargan and Dare and Kasla, Jana Cregan.
Oh, this is literally a different language. I don't know. Did he say this island is technically part of the UK or technically not part of the UK? I think it is, kind of. So I guess this counts as a British accent. This is kind of on a technicality.
Unsure.
And yes, they smuggled some phrases into the local English. No wonder the Manx accent is so cool.
Okay.
Them things, you know, the things, the dangle and that, but I didn't go, I just sort of stayed at the
We was up, you know what I mean? Did I?
If you're going to get one accent from this whole video,
What? Okay. All right, now we're getting into it. This is what I came for. This is Are there can British people genuinely, can you understand this? It's amazing.
Go, I just sort of stayed at the, we was up, you know what I mean? Did I?
if you're going to
Do you know why is the only thing I understand the final bit where he says, you know what I mean? It's like, no, I don't.
get one accent from this whole video, this is the one to get, so enjoy the victory while it lasts. It was named after a stew that sailors used to like, and Scandinavians happen to have a stew by the same name, so Viking.
What? If your accent is named after a stew, I just feel like it was born to be difficult to understand.
Kings, anyone?
How do you say a book? How can I have a chicken in the breakfast?
You can have a chicken in the breakfast if you ask for chicken in your breakfast.
It used to be a small fishing village full of sailors and
Okay.
traders and Irish and Welsh, and this is hilarious. A linguist from the 1890s believed that those nasal sounds were because everyone was always sick. It is, of course, the Scouse accent of Liverpool.
Scouse. I've definitely heard this word before. Maybe I've even heard this accent before. I don't know. But there's just so many British accents out there. I've definitely heard this word before, scouse. I didn't remember that it's from Liverpool. This is an accent that's just regional to a specific city. I guess we have that in the United States. I shouldn't act so shocked. Like, we have a New York accent, and there's a Boston accent, Chicago accent. Yeah, Texas is a state, but even within Texas, there's accents. Yeah, okay. Liverpool, Scouse.
You can spot a Scouse scale from wherever you are.
They're amazing!
Bright, unique, different, over the top.
And as for the stew, well, it was
Okay.
probably also eaten by the likes of John, Paul, Ringo, and George.
Yeah, aren't they from Liverpool? I'm positive they grew up in Liverpool or something like that. Yet, the Beatles never, in interviews and stuff, they were never difficult to understand. I guess they kind of lost that accent or something.
I look beyond dreadful because I've not been out for a very long time. I went out and I'd not eaten and I drank way too much.
What is this? Why does it sound like he is he's in prison? Where is he right now? Is he? What is this video? What is he? Anyway, that's not really the point. But I was just like, where is this? What is this guy doing? What's he talking about? Because I can understand him. This is not actually difficult to understand. This video has a big range of difficulty. Some of these are like completely unintelligible to me, and others are very easy. I don't know why that is.
And I didn't layer the drinks, I mixed them.
Now, here is an accent with tons of character. The locals, of course, well, they think that everyone else is speaking English wrong. There's a big old seafaring history to this particular accent, from the Nordics, from Europe and the Baltic states. And there were Dutch and Finnish settlers too. Wait, Baltic? That's right. See, through the 1800s and all the way to World War II, it was a transit port for Baltic and Eastern European refugees. And
oh my gosh, so there's a lot of British accents that have been affected, that have been influenced by cultures throughout Europe, basically, coming to Britain and influenced a lot of these accents. That kind of makes sense, though, for explaining why there's so many.
Migrants. Even the guy who wrote Robinson Crusoe was inspired by this place. Sometimes they speak so fast that half the letters just get left out.
If you speak fast, Ernar snur. Oh no, it's snowing. Fern curls. Phone calls. Grover. Summit. Something. Summit. Give me a summit. Ernar snur. This one's fun.
But out of all the English accents and dialects, you won't hear more obvious traces of Old English than right here, like the Scandinavian word bairn, or is it banes?
Oh no, there's snow on the road, and that's a severe weather warning.
It sounds funny to me, but it makes enough sense. You can understand this one.
And the other one is Mamma Mia, and that's telling your mother you've arrived.
That's right, I am talking about a place called Hull, or is that Hull?
Okay.
See, Hull is in Yorkshire, but this one-of-a-kind accent is very different from the usual Yorkshire twang that you might know. The real sound changes began in 1299 when King Edward granted them a royal charter, and from that day on, Hullians got to do things their own way. And if you like to do things your own way, well, here's something you can do. You can click these 3 buttons any old way you want to, because you won't regret it.
This is a very good video right now. He's making a good point. This is again by Ollie Richards. Very good. Shout out to him.
Really helps us out, and we're planning some exciting new videos that you won't want to miss.
We have the most beautiful beaches in the world that are equivalent to the Maldives, some of them, because of how clear the water is.
Okay.
Very dramatic landscape. We've got hills, sea.
Oh, I just realized this is another example. You know, the title of this is, you know, British accents that I will not understand. So I understand this one. This one's pretty easy as well. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm just doing better than I thought I would, if I should give myself more credit, or if British accents aren't as difficult as I thought.
Lochs. A whole lot of sheep, but I love it. I love where I live. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Now, if you're asking me to figure out where in Britain this accent is from, I could never in a million years do that. I have no clue.
And that's what makes me me, is my very strange accent.
A place of wild weather, beautiful
Strange.
beaches, and sheep, she says. If you're fascinated by the mysterious stone circles of the British Isles, you'll find good ones here. More than 50% of the people speak Gaelic, and when they speak English, it's with this beautiful lilting accent that sounds...
What is Gaelic? Gaelic? 50% speak Gaelic? What is that? Is that another language, or... I genuinely don't know about that.
To some people's ears, more like Irish than Scottish, but really this accent is in a class of its own. If you hear something weird like this, that puffing sound before the letter is pronounced, it's a very old and rare feature that only a few languages still have, mostly around the Arctic Circle, so they must...
Look at the other languages this is related to. Icelandic, Sami, Greenland, Norwegian, Blackfoot, Gaelic, so many different places.
Be related. Wait, Blackfoot? But that's a Native American language. Very mysterious indeed. And the accent is from the Outer Hebrides, an islands chain off Scotland. See, people here speak with a stronger Celtic accent.
What is this? The islands in northwestern Scotland. I didn't even know those were there.
Accent than anywhere else, because it was one of the last areas that the English arrived at.
The landscapes of Scotland inspire me every day, and I really hope my bakes inspire you to get back in the kitchen and to visit our beautiful Hebridean Islands.
In the very early Viking days, the Hebrides went under Norse control for hundreds of years before Scottish clan chiefs got ownership in 1266.
Wow.
They spoke Gaelic, not English, and the school kids only started learning English in 1906.
Wow, this is a part of Scotland I did not know about. 100 years ago is when they started learning English. Wow.
When they got like all they come out of school, 4 o'clock, he got down to the field and watched them. See them coming in there, they was in there, our apples. He walks in. Of course, they got no other way, they couldn't go back.
Huh?
They goes down out the gap.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what I came for. No clue. Not any. You know, it's funny. Every so often you'll hear a phrase that makes sense, and then the rest is just no idea. The guy interviewing him is laughing. Like, I don't know if he told a joke. If I were interviewing this guy, I'd just have to laugh randomly. Like, yeah, good one. And he'd be like, I didn't say a joke.
Trips are baked and they went in the stove. In the stove, he blew his whistle. That gave the woman know that what's the hell come out.
He blew a whistle, and then something funny happened.
Oh, the poor kids, they was mud all over.
This wholesome child.
The poor kids, they had mud all over them. you can discern what he's saying at times.
Accent is very warm and melodic, and it goes all the way back to the Saxon dialects of a certain medieval kingdom, and you can almost still tell the tribes apart from town to town, although there's a bit of mystery around the exact details. It's not just Saxon, it's also full of Celtic, Latin, Welsh, and Cornish influences.
Wow.
These guys were once farmers and fishermen, and there were swashbuckling pirates and smugglers hiding in the coves. Yet somehow, those Danish Vikings missed the entire area.
What?
I mean, just stop for a second and let's say British history is crazy. It's really interesting. And that's really what's dictated a lot of all these crazy accents is British history.
Well, that dog is guarding is strictly between Professor Dumbledore and Nicholas Flamel. I shouldn't have said that.
I'm talking about the West Country accent of England, which is more...
Oh my gosh, what is this part? These are parts of Britain I've never thought about in my life. This is way to the southwest.
Dialect and accent, to be honest. Out here, people use all sorts of strange expressions like collywobbles and scrumpy, and they say weird things like I be instead of I am. But the thing that they're really famous for is a very distinctive twang in which they roll their R's, just like the Scots. And you know what? Everything you think they're saying wrong is actually right, because this dialect is the remains of the language of King Alfred himself. Cool story, huh? And if you enjoy stories like...
Right, it's like... that's a good point to make. It's like none of these accents should be considered strange or wrong. Depending on where you are from, that's the correct way to speak. And so when I say that these are weird, strange accents, it's like no disrespect. It's just from my point of view. From their point of view, I sound weird and crazy, and that's fine.
Hade man till jord så gott bort då. If I could put that leg up and after doing it in Tokyo. That's all the best that for me autumn.
What was it?
Is this? We're almost at the end of the video. Is this like the final boss? Is this because? No idea. Not one word. Not one word of this made sense.
Put that leg up and after doing it in Tokyo.
I think he put his leg up something.
That's all the best that for me autumn.
What was he saying exactly? You get that? See, in this place, the ancestral language did not succumb to English until after a big famine in the 1840s. So if you're looking for the closest accent to the original language, well, here it is. They really have a unique R sound, and the grammar is just strange.
You know, I have to say, after listening to a lot of these accents in Britain, these are a lot more extreme than what you'll find in America. In America, we have different accents, regionally. But I can understand all of them, and maybe it's because I'm American, I don't think that's the case. I think all of our accents are reasonably easy to understand. They're pretty basic. Some of these British accents are out of this world, like literally sounds like a different language.
To be fair, you probably won't hear many townies speaking this way.
If you were a farmer in Ireland today with a shed full of cattle and you were trying to finish them to sell them at whatever price that the factories would give you, and perhaps maybe the prices being coerced in such a way that it's very difficult for you to make money.
Something about cattle and companies and coercion. I can understand that a bit.
Don't just guess the country. That's too easy. What region is he from? It's an accent from the most westerly county of Ireland, Kerry. They call it the jewel in the...
Oh, Ireland. So this technically is not part of Britain. Not even part of the UK, right? This is Ireland.
Irish accent crown. Many people in Kerry are still fluent Irish speakers, and I'm pretty sure their English accent mimics the Irish language.
Huh.
There is one thing about this accent that stands out the most. See if you can hear it.
I'm making some coffee and having some waffles. Oh, they're absolutely amazing.
It sounds like he's singing. Do you have to sound like you're singing in this accent?
I picked him up in town. Hey, don't use all your hot water now. I've got an interview later in Starbucks.
I like this one. Could I handle somebody talking to me like that all the time, constantly? I don't know, but it's fun.
It's so rhythmic. All the syllables have the same stress, and this feature is unique to a very particular part of the UK.
Okay.
Know where it is?
When is Michael Myers from Halloween? Hubby's lending me his overalls. Stephen's going as Slim Shady.
I do understand what he's saying. Slim Shady. There's no mistaking what that is. This almost sounds Scandinavian or something. Like, hey, how are you doing? Like that kind of Swedish.
And Callum's going as Heisenberg from Breaking Bad.
Well, if you're not British, it would be very hard to guess the exact area. So here's a clip from a different region.
Oh yeah, I have no idea where these are from in Britain.
See, these guys have a certain saying that's a dead giveaway.
But I looks at her and I yells, "Excuse me, love, whose coat is that jacket there then?"
It is, of course, the one and only Welsh accent. As you might expect, the Welsh English accent comes directly from the Welsh language.
Oh, that's cool. This is a part of Britain that in America we basically never hear about Wales or Welsh accents, or we never hear about this. So this is cool.
So there are many versions of a Welsh accent, and they're hard to pronounce. So forgive me for just saying Welsh. And if you got the exact region right for the first clip,
where are you from? Llanelli.
Congrats, you now get to brag in the comments. I do not think you're going to get the next one, though.
Okay.
Living a countryman's lifestyle, to be honest with you. I couldn't fit into it. I just wouldn't get it. I just wouldn't fit into the culture, if you know what I mean. I just couldn't do it.
I just couldn't fit into the culture, if you know what I mean. I can understand. This is not that impossible to understand. I have to put in some effort, like really listen, but you can understand it pretty easily.
They'll only get about 2 or 3 days on it. I reckon if they had a choice to press a button and get rid of all of us all instead of doing it in 2 seconds.
If they could bomb us out, they would.
Never mind. Never mind. As soon as they showed these girls talking quickly, that all went out the window. I have no idea what they just said. They even had subtitles, and I didn't understand.
No one knows for sure where they originally came from, but they've been part of Irish societies for centuries. And right now, there are only about 33,000 people on British soil who still speak this way. There is DNA evidence that they descend from the very earliest settlers in Ireland from 6,000 years ago. In fact, one theory is that they're actually pre-Gaelic. There's some pretty ancient vocabulary that shows
only like 30,000 people even talk like this. That's pretty amazing.
Shows up in their idioms.
When we're going to a camp or like a field or something for us off straight away. Yeah, the people stand like, "When are you leaving?" Fucking lot of idiots.
Well, there is your last and final clue. I'm talking about, of course, the nomadic Irish travellers, or gypsies. These fascinating Irish...
Nomadic Irish travellers, gypsies. Is this even technically a place? Is this part of Britain?
People have a unique English accent that has a bit of Romani vocabulary here and there, which is interesting because they don't have Romani DNA. And what's even cooler is that they also speak a secret language that they don't want outsiders to understand.
What?
Now it's your turn. How many did you...
What? How many did I get right? None. I just thought it was fun to listen to these British accents. And I think there were a couple Irish accents in there too. It was just fun, getting exposed to the different accents. I'm kind of pleased that a lot of these were discernible to me. Not that impossible. If it were real life, I'd probably have to ask them to repeat themselves, but there were a couple, honestly, that made no sense. I will say there were some that I didn't understand, but more than I thought that I did understand. So that's a win. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of these British accents, or in your opinion, what the most difficult to understand British accents are. That'd be interesting to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Britain and learning about British culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.